Now raise your hand if you think you're a lucky person. Just Ramon. Okay, raise your hand if you think you're unlucky. Got it. Okay, you can put your hands down.
What about you, Mr. Corman?
What's that?
You didn't raise your hand.
Me? No, I mean, I feel like a lucky person.
I would describe Mr. Corman as a guy with a good heart who's got a lot to be grateful for and does his best to be happy, but isn't happy 100% of the time. I have those moments where my brain goes down into dark places and I try to stop it. I try to say like, hey brain, don't feel this way. You don't have to. You have so much to be grateful for. But my brain doesn't always listen to me. And that's what this show is. It's getting really intimately into the point of view of a person and seeing, the dark and the light and finding the humor in that.
What's bothering you?
Everything. It just feels like I blew the whole thing, like I suck as a person.
The series is written, directed, produced, and started by you. It's a lot of responsibilities. Did you feel as comfortable behind the camera as in front of it?
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say there were so many collaborators on Mr. Corman. I didn't do everything. There were a bunch of other great writers and another great director, and so it's important to give credit where credit is due. But yeah, I love being behind the camera. I love both sides. I love acting, but I also love all facets of the process. I'm a film nerd. I've always been fascinated with what's the cinematography doing, or what's the production design? How does editing work? What about the music? And getting to play with all those different tools has been such a joy for me.
Mr. Corman, is your return to television. Did you miss the way to work on a series?
I really love the series format, and you're right. I when I was a kid, I was on a series called Third Rock from the Sun, which I had so much fun doing. But of course, that format is quite different. That's an old-fashioned, convention of a sitcom with the multicam and live studio audience, and that's how sitcoms have been made ever since the beginning of television. And now, 20 years later, television has really changed. And now, like Mr. Corman doesn't really remind me that much of Third Rock from the Sun. It's more like, the movies coming out of Sundance in the 90s that I grew up loving. Swingers or Sling Blade or Big Night or Tree Lounge, movies like that are about imperfect human beings and kind of their messy struggles with their own minds and their own growth. And it's lovely to see that there's such an audience for this. Back then, those movies, they had small audiences. They were independent movies that would play at festivals or play at art house cinemas in big cosmopolitan cities. But really, there's a lot more than just the art house goers and the film festival goers that are, I think, really moved by these very human stories. And it's wonderful to see big global streaming services like Apple receive these stories and present them to these audiences.
How was your weekend?
It was great.
He's some big man now.
You guys walk away.
I took my next question from the series. Do you consider yourself as a lucky person?
Yes, is the answer. I consider myself deeply lucky. And, look, have I worked hard to get to where I am? Sure I have, but a lot of people work hard. And not everybody gets the same lucky breaks that I do. I think I'm incredibly lucky, and I think we as a world need to start acknowledging how much luck plays a part in everybody's life. I think we could probably all be a lot kinder and more forgiving to each other if we recognized that.
My last question, how did you get along with Spanish?
How do I speak Spanish, do you mean?
Yeah.
Un poco. Entiendo más que puedo hablar, pero en Los Ángeles hay mucho español y entiendo un poco. Puedo hablar un poco.
Es perfecto. That's perfect. So, thank you for your time. We hope to see you soon in Argentina.
Yeah, I'd love to come to Argentina. That would be great.